Hello and welcome to Model Kit Stuff. Today we've got a product review and we're looking at this. Tamiya Craft Tools bending pliers for photo etch parts. This is one of two pliers they offer. This is the long nosed one. So let's take a look. So yes, as I say, this is one of a set of two pliers that they sell for bending photo etch parts. They also do some photo etch bending tweezers as well. So these are the smaller ones. I've had these for some time, and these are the larger ones, which I've only just got, which is why I've still got the packaging. So as you can see, they come in a plastic blister pack with a card insert at the back. Which has some instructions on how to bend, and it's telling you basically that you can use the full length, you can use it side on, and you can use the tip, but we'll show you all of that in a minute. So when you take the product out of the packaging, what you've actually got is something not dissimilar to a set of pliers. So we've got a flat machined surface, and then we've got ends and sides that are beveled. I've got chamfers on, which allows you to overbend, and that can be quite important. The grips themselves are rubber. They feel very good quality. And then we have this elliptical shape in the middle, which is basically our spring and pushes them back open. So they're constantly in an open shape, and it's exactly the same on their smaller ones. Exactly the same process. Now there is lots and lots of different ways of bending photo etch, and there is pros and cons to all of them, and I have done a video about that, so if you're interested in that, go and look in the past history of tool review videos, and you'll see a video on this which talks about that. So I'm not going to labour too much on it, but there are pros and cons to all of these tools that you see in front of you, and my favourite is this one. This is still my favourite tool, so let's focus on this one for a sec. The plus side to this is it's very flexible, and you can bend pretty much anything in any shape you like because of all these small teeth. So most people start out using a steel rule and a razor blade, and that's how you bend your parts on a flat surface. What this does is it gives you the opportunity to bend all sorts of different parts in different ways. So it's an upgrade to that basic way of folding. And the hold and folds work in the same way, the only advantage is they're applying equal pressure to hold it in place, which is the one disadvantage of this, that your parts can sometimes move around in this when you're folding, and it's possible. I've not had that issue many times, but occasionally when you're putting pressure on, if you're not holding it down tight enough, the photo etch can move. So that's where these pliers come in and become quite handy, because what you can do with these is, firstly, you're hand holding, so it's convenient. You don't have to have it on a flat surface. You can hold it closer to your eyes if needs be, and you can visually line it up to the end, and then you can just bend your part. Now, the downside is you sometimes need something to bend it against. So you just saw me push that round with my finger, but sometimes you might need a flat surface. So you might want to be coming to it and pressing it down, and then it's not the easiest tool to use. It depends on how thick your photo etch is. Certainly on wooden ship kits, your photo etch tends to be a lot thicker, and that can be a little bit more challenging. So because you've got a flat blade, they're also handy for unfolding photo etch, as you can see. Obviously you can't do that too many times, but it does give you that opportunity. Because you're squeezing the handle, it's applying pressure down the length of the scissor here, but that's where the weakness of this tool is, and it's the same issue with this. Both of these tools have the same issue, and that is they actually, when you close them, they only make contact at the end. So if you can see, I'm going to pass this, I can pass that all the way through. That's closed. If I squeeze that tightly, I can still pass photo etch all the way through. And it's the same on this one, but I'd need a smaller bit of photo etch to prove the point, but this isn't quite as bad actually as the long ones. So if I put this in, you can see that's how much length is actually in contact with your photo etch. So if you're doing long jobs like side skirts on a tank or something like that, you need to bear that in mind. You might want to put something on top to help it bend. What you want to do is double up the thickness of what you're bending. So I wouldn't use a steel rule, I'd use some scrap photo etch, but if I put that in like that, and then I can bend backwards, and that's ensuring that we've got contact. Okay. You can use the tip for bending small parts. So if we take this for example, I can use the tip there just to bend that like so. And these days most photo etch has have bending points in them, but not all photo etch does. Certainly older kits might not. And you can use the flat ends there to just square things off afterwards. So they are quite a handy tool. It's also quicker because you're not tightening, untightening, moving, tightening. It's a lot quicker to use. So they are very convenient, and they're easy to store. You know, put them wherever you're gonna put them. They're a lot less bulky than some of these things, but that lack of contact is really the only real downside of them. They're a quality made tool. I've had this one for some years now, and I use it a lot. I actually find that I use these more than I use this now, even though I would tell you, and I have told you, that this is my favourite photo etch bender. This I use a lot. The downside is exactly the same. It doesn't make contact, and also you can't always get into some of the shapes, but that's the same issue that you get with this. Now unlike some of the other options like bending with a steel rule, you can overbend with these. So if I show you on this item here, if I bend that out, I can overbend that because of the chamfer. Now that can be really handy when you have metal that maybe you've not annealed and it's got a little bit of spring in it. By overbending it, the spring back will align it properly. So in this case, what I want to do is correct that. And you can see I can just keep manipulating that photo etch until I've got it exactly where I need it, which is there like that. It's just quick and easy. I've got to say, I love them. I think they're great tools, and whoever came up with them came up with a brilliant idea. Now then, the real question is, if you were to buy just one, because they are expensive, they're over £20 in the UK, which one would you buy? I've got to be honest, I haven't used these in anger yet, but I've used these a lot. And I think in the main, if you've got one of these solutions, you probably want the small one, because for doing small parts, it's absolutely brilliant. You can you can get right into small parts and do some very small detail stuff using the end. And what I sometimes do is use the razor blade to give me a nice sharp edge on these small ones. There you go. So that's my platform built. Now I would probably, I'm going to try it, I could probably do this on the bigger one, but it depends on your type of modelling. If you're modelling a lot of ships, for example, the smaller ones are handy. If you're doing big ships, 1/200 scale, then the larger ones might be handy for some of the larger photo etch. So you take your choice. I mean, ultimately, if you can only afford one set, think about what type of photo etch bending you do the most and what makes sense for you. But I think for most people, the small one, I think I've bent that the wrong way. The small one is probably the most handy. And then the larger one really is for, you're going to use a little bit more occasionally, I think. But the process for using them is simple, it's straightforward, it's quick. Obviously, these are scrap pieces, so I'm not doing the job properly. But you can see how easy it is. You're clamping it, you can adjust it quickly, you can move things around quickly. It's very, very quick. It's very, very precise. You can do very nice straight bends, as you've seen. And even if you want to do something and bend some steel that's not got a bend line in, you can do that because you've got enough force in the grip to put any bend in that you like. Do have to bear in mind that these are tapered, so you might want to clamp a steel rule in there to give you a straight edge, maybe. So that's definitely one way of doing it, and in fact that's actually recommended on the back of the instructions. So if I show you, if I get that lined up to the edge of the steel rule, you can then use the tool as a clamp and fold against the steel rule, which again is much quicker than clamping it in one of these. Yeah, so there's lots of methods to it. You can see here on the back, use with metal ruler or similar object to obtain precise folds. So what they're referring to is how to bend it. They say use a metal ruler because they don't want to say a razor blade, but I find a razor blade is better. Or like I say, you can fold it down on a flat surface. I think it's a great tool. You just have to bear in mind that you've not got full contact along there, and that's the only downside of them. They're nice and easy to use, nice and easy to store, and I keep them on my desk because most kits these days have some form of photo etching. So they're really, really handy, and they make these things, which are a lot more expensive, redundant in my view. I'm not going to throw them away, but I haven't used these in years, to be honest, because my chosen solution is a combination of those three items now. So if you're in the market for one of these, I hope that was useful. I think they're great tools. They're a little bit pricey. If you can't afford them, then you might have a look for one of these. You can get them off eBay. These are the very best tools that you can get for photo etch bending. They're very, very flexible. But these are quick, easy, adjustable, give you multi ways of doing things. And if you do a lot of photo etch, I'd recommend you look at buying some. Hope that was useful. You enjoy your modelling. Take care, and I will see you very soon. Bye for now.